Hi everyone and welcome. So great that you could be here today with me on Storytime 365. My name is Barbara and today I have a Christmas story that I think you'll really love. The book is called The Toy Maker, and what I love about this story so much is that Alfie has a Christmas dream that he never ever gives up on. This is a book that's been written by Denise Evans and it's illustrated by June Lorison. Alfie wanted to be a toy maker more than anything else in the world. Every day he dreamed he was sitting at the workbench with the other workers at the toy factory making toys. But Alfie wasn't a toy maker. He was a sweeper. When no one was looking, Alfie would practice making toys. The wheels were never round. Sometimes the parts were back to front or even upside down. A few made funny noises, but Alfie knew that his toys would make children happy. One day, Alfie showed the owner of the factory one of his toys and asked if he could be a toy maker. The owner became angry. "No, you can't be a toy maker," he roared. "Your toys are all wrong. They aren't like all the others. A sweeper doesn't know how to make toys right." Poor Alfie's heart was broken. The other workers made fun of him as he sadly swept the floor. But as soon as they left, he climbed onto a stool with some scraps of wood. Before long, the factory was filled with the cheerful sounds of sawing and hammering. After a few days, the toy makers stopped teasing Alfie. They even told him how pleased they were to find the factory so spanking clean each morning. They didn't know that every night after the little sweeper finished cleaning up, he used each scrap of wood, each leftover piece of cloth, each forgotten nail to make his own toys. And every night he carried them home in a box. One night, as he passed the children's hospital on his way home, Alfie heard a small voice call out to him, "Sir, what do you have in that box?" He looked up and saw a little boy with crutches leaning out the window. "Hello there, these are toys. I'm a toy maker. Would you like to see them?" Alfie carried his box upstairs to a room full of sick children with sad faces. The little boy with crutches was waiting for him. He introduced Alfie to the others. There wasn't a sound as Alfie placed one of his toys in the middle of the room. He turned the key and right away it twirled around and jumped onto a bed. A few of the children giggled and clapped their hands. Quickly, Alfie lifted another toy out of the box. "This is a hoppin' boom," he said. He smiled as it made its way across the floor. Next came a ring-a-ling-a-ding thing, then a snap and giggle, and finally a tiny wagon whose egg wheels made it ping and clang, a sweet melody as it circled the room. Soon every child was laughing and shouting and clapping hands. Before Alfie left, he tucked his new friends in. "I'll be back soon," he promised. After that, he worked even harder making toys, and as often as he could, he shared them with the children in the hospital. Every time he saw their happy faces, Alfie knew his toys were right, even if they were different. Very late one snowy night, a stranger knocked on Alfie's door. The tired little toy maker climbed out of bed to answer. "Can I help you, sir?" he asked timidly. "Are you Alfie?" the big man asked, and his smile made his eyes crinkle. "I've heard about you and the wonderful toys you make. May I see them?" Alfie invited the stranger in. He put new wood on the fire so the man could warm his toes and nervously brought out his toys. At first, the stranger didn't say anything. Then he picked up a toy and set it in motion. Soon many toys were hopping and clanging around the room. One even jumped into the man's lap as if it belonged there. His eyebrows rose higher and higher. Finally, he spoke. "These toys are wonderful," he said in a deep, friendly voice. "Why do you keep them hidden away?" Alfie told him about the factory, about the angry owner, about the toy makers who laughed at him, and especially about the children in the hospital. The stranger got up and walked around the room. He stroked his beard thoughtfully. "Alfie, I also have a toy factory," he said, "and my toy makers know how to make children happy with their toys, as you do. I would like you to work for me, but think about it carefully, Alfie. It's far away, and you won't be able to see your friends in the hospital ever again." Alfie looked up at the kind stranger. He liked the big man with the twinkle in his eyes. He would miss the children, but he could still make them happy with his toys. He took only a minute to decide. Alfie wanted to be a toy maker more than anything else in the world. He hustled and bustled to pack all his things. He wrote happily to the owner and workers at the toy factory to tell them he was no longer a sweeper, but a real toy maker. And he wrote sadly to his friends at the hospital to tell them he was going away so he could make more toys for them and for other children too. Then he pulled on his coat and his warm woolen hat, and without looking back, he marched out into the cold winter night. Just outside the door, Alfie stopped so suddenly he almost fell backwards. He stared. He couldn't believe his eyes. There before him stood 8 reindeer and a beautiful sleigh. Smiling, the stranger said, "Hurry, my reindeer are getting impatient." Alfie smiled a big happy smile and climbed in beside the man. And from that day to this, Alfie's toys have been making children happy everywhere. Thank you for joining me for today's story. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you again tomorrow for another Christmas story. Bye!